Forward to the cloud. Woo! Hello, friends. Welcome to Infuse. Tonight, yours truly, Skyla Mann, is going to be sharing about chapter number 4 in our book called The 5 Pillars. And I have already begun sharing my screen because we are so eager to begin. But this has been a really good refresher on the 5 pillars, which are basically the 5 actions that we need to build a solid and lasting network marketing business. So I'm delighted that you are here either live or you are catching the recording. And I'm excited to just jump on in. So this is the agenda for tonight. We're going to do a quick review of what these 5 pillars are. We have said all along that you can hop in or you can invite team members to join in anytime. We will catch them up to speed. We're going to review our action items and check in with you and see how things went last week. And then we're going to talk about this idea of serving. We know that serving our customers and our team is truly what sets us apart. It is the core of our business. And without service, I hate to say it, but let's just call it what it is. We really don't have any business. We have no customers if we don't serve them. So we're going to review some of the best ways to serve our customers and some resources that you can use. And we're going to end this session with some action items for this week. So don't forget the themes and the topics that will go through the 5 weeks. We're going to cover ownership, taking action, subscribe to save, being consistent and persistent, connecting with people, playing to your strengths, and this concept that there is only one road to diamond. And you know whose road that is? Your road. Right on. Lastly, we're going to answer any questions at the end of the session. And that chat box is going to be open the whole time. And we've got lots of capable people that are going to be keeping an eye on that. So feel free to use it. Okay, our quick follow-up here. If you are just joining us for the first time, these are the 5 pillars. So the first one is sharing. The second one is follow-up. Last week, we talked about educating people. Tonight is all about service. And next week, we're going to talk about building. So every leader must regularly do these 5 crucial building blocks. There's no getting around it, you guys. They're called pillars for a reason. These are the foundational principles that our businesses are built on. It doesn't matter what your rank is within our company, the activities remain the same. So the things that I did at Star and Senior Star to build to where I am today are the same things that I need to do today to continue building and fostering a healthy business. Okay. Sharing means expressing your passion and your love for the oils to all those that we come in contact with. Follow up means reconnecting with people that we've talked to and just being what I call follow up is being professionally responsible. Following up is what professionals do. And so it does not need to be weird. It's just keeping your promise. Okay. Educating means to continually learn more about the oils and the business yourself, and then turning around and sharing that information with your team. Tonight, we're going to talk about serving, which has a very strong customer focus. And next week, we're going to talk about building, which means developing your business builders, your leaders, and your team into the culture that you want your business to have. Okay, if we focus our activity on these 5 pillars every day, every week, and every month, you will absolutely have built a very successful business. So before we go forward tonight, let's go back to last week and let's check in on some action items here. So last week's lesson was all about education, and we talked about new methods of education, and we talked about running a subscribe to save percentage report, formerly known as ER. That's why it says that on the slide. Sorry about that. And put together a plan to raise that percentage. So does anybody want to type in the chat box or unmute themselves if you have a win to share or something that you learned? I have a couple of examples here that I can share, but man, I would so much rather hear from you. So Britta and Danielle, I might lean on you guys. If you see some things in the chat box, will you please relay those?
Okay, I'll tell you what I've figured out. Normally I go live on my group page. We do education. Friday night live at 5. Instead, what I did was I sent out emails that were short but very informative on different products. This time it was the Ningxia Nitro.
Okay.
And then I also followed up with a Super B in that email. Why we need it, how our body uses it. I got good response out of that. And some questions fed back about, can we talk some more about this on Friday as well? So it just I figured out that doing it that way leads me into more of, okay, they want to know more about this, instead of on Friday saying, let me know what you guys want to learn about, and everybody going silent. You know what I mean?
I mean, love that.
It gives them just a little bit of an opportunity without maybe feeling on the spot to say, I want to know more about this.
Penny, that's huge. Thank you. And I can't help but think that that would change the way you feel. Like, instead of you blasting information through a megaphone, you're now just responding to something that someone inquired about. And that's got to feel really good. So well done. Awesome. Did anybody take a peek at their percentage? Oh, Carly did. Awesome. I just saw that pop up. Good deal. So Carly says she's got a 33% on subscribe to save. And here's the thing, you guys, when we talk about our thoughts and beliefs, 33% is neither a negative nor a positive number. It is a pure fact. And the fun thing now is that Carly can look at that number and just say, okay, what could I do to impact my team so that I could help that become 34%? And it becomes this game where you throw some input into the team, like maybe product education, maybe an in-person event, maybe a little promotion. I don't know what it might be. But then you start watching that needle move and you say, holy cow, when I do, live at 5 on Friday, like Penny was talking about, that actually changes my subscribe to save percentage. And that's pretty cool. So good deal. So I encourage you, if you haven't had a chance to look up your percentage, please do that. Jot it down in your planner, just so that you have a starting point, because then you'll know if your actions this month impact your percentage next month. Okay. Donna has got a 45% subscribe to save rate and wants to add more people. That's perfect. Hey, don't worry about the small team size, Donna. It's a great group to communicate with And I just figure no matter what size your team is, if you can start talking to them and training them well, when they duplicate, they're going to duplicate exactly what you've taught. So that's fantastic. All right. Good job, Brittany. 34%. That's fantastic. All right. I love it. Love it. Okay. Good work, everybody. All right. I'm going to keep moving here. And we're going to talk about service now. And that does not mean that I'm cutting off any wins from last week. If you guys have some more, please feel free to drop those in the chat box. Okay. So let's shift into servant leadership for tonight. John Maxwell, as far as I'm concerned, is the expert on leadership. And he says that true leadership must be for the benefit of the followers, not to enrich the leader. And it is so, so true. Servant leadership, in the most beautiful form of the word, it is an action and an attitude. So when one of your customers has an issue, it suddenly becomes your issue. And we rise to the occasion of servant leadership by helping them resolve it. Now, in the last couple of years, some of us have gotten a lot of practice. Would you agree? Anybody gotten good at helping resolve issues? Sometimes we can get so good that we grow a little weary of that, but it's our attitude towards it and the story that we tell ourselves about that will truly impact our team. So by doing that, by helping them resolve, that is how we help them resolve future issues for themselves. So when we help them, it's kind of like we're trying to teach our team how to fish. Okay. So servant leadership has the customer or the member's best interest at heart. And I want you to remember that people will continue to purchase and to be loyal because of you, not because of Young Living. So the way that you treat them and the way that you handle their issues, it really does matter. Because even though we have the absolute best products on the planet, they have options. And we want them to continue to choose Young Living and you over and over and over. So no, you did not cause every problem or every missed shipment. No way. You did not set a bad expectation. But friends, things happen and people make mistakes. There are misunderstandings. People don't listen. And so then it's our job to serve them. Because if we don't, who will? That's the true question. So start thinking like a consumer of oils and think through, if something happened to you, how would you like to be treated? Okay. And that's the place where we have to start from. So who are we serving? We're serving both customers and members. We are serving business builders, brand partners, leaders, all of them. Okay. And what do they need from you to have more successful businesses? They need your consistent service and they need your love and your care. So here's one of the biggest challenges in this business, and I am going to encourage you to maybe spend some time tonight, even after this class wraps up, thinking about what your healthy boundaries look like. Okay. One of the biggest challenges is finding a healthy balance between your life and your Young Living business. And I am one of those people that falls into the camp that I believe there is no perfect balance, but I think there are seasons where we might lean heavier to one side than the other, but we have to create some healthy boundaries. So that might look like setting work hours or setting off times. How many of you turn off your phone at a certain time of the day? Like if you've got young kids, let's say they're at school, when they come home from school, you know, that 4 to 7 o'clock where it's homework time, supper time, getting ready for bedtime, that's probably not the ideal time for you to be on your phone, right? So have any of you set healthy boundaries that says, I'm just going to silence my phone or I'm going to put it in airplane mode between 4 and 7 p.m. And after that, maybe I do a couple more hours of work. Maybe you host some online classes after the kids are in bed. But it is okay to have those boundaries. It's also really smart to be proactive and let people know what the best way is to be reached. So would you rather receive text messages or voicemails? Would you rather receive emails or phone calls? There's no right or wrong answer, but you need to be responsible for telling your team how you prefer to be communicated with. And then you can't complain if you haven't said anything and suddenly your phone starts ringing. You can't complain if you didn't tell your team, like, I really don't want you to call me at dinner time, or I don't really want you to text me at 11 p.m. I don't think that's appropriate. Okay. Unless, you know, the house is on fire or whatever, but really it's okay to set those boundaries. You can give people on your team guidance on what kinds of questions you want to see posted in your Facebook group versus what kinds are personal questions. Meaning in a Facebook group, we're probably not going to want to field a bunch of questions that are not compliant, because that kind of sets a tone like, oh, my leader will never answer anything. Private messages, that's a totally different ballgame. Okay. But when we teach people ahead of time which way we want to do that, then I think that sets a good boundary. Give a guideline on response times. We like to respond the same day. Others give people a 24-hour window. If you're unavailable, it's absolutely okay to say, I'm at my son's game or I'm at my daughter's concert. I'll get back to you in the morning. I feel like that is so respectful, and it's probably better than just flat out ignoring a call or a text. Everybody knows, I hope, that we all have lives, right? And if you don't have young kids, you might have elderly parents. And I'm finding out that both of those groups are about equally needy. So it's okay. Just be proactive in setting that boundary. These have to be your boundaries. Don't let anybody else tell you what they should be. If you want to answer a customer's call, go for it. It's your choice. But I encourage you to be a real person and understand that our choices have implications and they always impact others. So own your schedule and communicate it with your members to make them feel valued and respected. Okay, let's talk just a little bit about how to serve. This probably looks different for everyone, but I think there are a few core issues here. First of all, we want to acknowledge the problem. Okay, the key point is to present the problem, solution, the product, or Young Living in the best light. Sometimes, yes, the company messes up. We're all human. And we're trying to paint Young Living as when we try to paint Young Living as a always perfect organization, that's not going to work. Okay, because really it's made up of a bunch of humans and we're all fallible, right? So customer issues could be receiving a leaky bottle in the mail. Okay, what are we going to do about that? It might be a shipping error. It might be an unprocessed order, a broken diffuser, out of stock products, etc., etc. The list can go on. There are no perfect farms. There are no perfect distilleries or bottling companies or shipping companies. Sadly, there are no perfect software firms. And just in case you get the Amazon comparison, let me tell you something. Amazon's biggest sale day of the year, their computers went down for several hours. Okay. So we don't have to buy into that. But this is our opportunity to think creatively. Your job is to be a problem solver and a solution finder. So make it personal to you because it is already personal to them. Think of this as your name and your personal reputation on the line. I know that you didn't make the mistake, but remember, the customer didn't either. So try your best to go the extra mile to make it better. I'll tell you one thing that I do that has served me well is I keep a notebook of issues that I have sent to Diamond Support. When somebody messages me, my biggest fear is that I will forget whose issues are in process. And so I keep a notebook of the name and the date and what the issue was so that I can glance over that. And then when it's resolved, I just go back and draw a line through it. It's over. And usually it's only a few days, but every now and then things might take longer. If Diamond Support has to reach out to IT to look into something, that's not always a 24-hour fix. And so I encourage you to set up some systems like that for yourself, just so that nobody gets lost in the shuffle, okay? And yes, Penny, I agree with you. We want to always try to take any negative things or frustrating things, take those to your upline and reserve that positive stuff for your downline. Not reserve it. You can send the positive stuff up too, but but we want to pour the positive out on the downline. So yes, Brittany, exactly. It's so easy to get caught up and forget to follow up. So it can happen. We're all human, right? So I want to tell you about a book that I read, and I don't necessarily want you to stop everything and go read this book, but I want you to memorize the title. It's by a woman named Marie Forleo, and I will write it in the chat box. The book is called Everything is Figure Outable. And it's actually a fantastic book to listen to on Audible. I love her storytelling, but I just want you to memorize that title because it's true. Everything under the sun is figure outable. We just have to get creative. So if you can't come up with a solution, call a cross-line friend, call your upline and say, okay, here's the scenario. Help me figure this out. I'm not asking you to solve it for me, but will you brainstorm with me? Okay. So there's always going to be a way to rectify a problem. So get creative. If Young Living can't make it right for whatever reason, and they almost always can, then I encourage you to find a way to make that customer or that member feel cared for and listened to. And let me tell you, it might be just a handwritten note with one stamp on it that makes everything better. And I will tell you, as the writer of many, many notes, notes make for sticky members. And what I mean by that is when they know that you really care, they will stick around for life. It's true. And they don't cost much. Okay. You can also put credits on people's accounts. If they've gotten a real bummer of an issue and Young Living couldn't help, you know what? Maybe $10 on their account will really change their heart. So think about doing something like that. Okay. Let's see, be a positive voice of encouragement. Even if you are feeling frustrated personally with a customer service issue, please do not vent to your customers or your members or your downline. Just like Penny was talking about, that's a time to go to your upline. Okay. Get it off your chest. We know it happens. And then get yourself situated again so that you can be a positive force. Try to be proactive. For example, when you see an issue, please do not wait until the last 2 days of the month to talk about it. And one of my biggest pet peeves is missed essential rewards or missed subscription orders. Don't wait. Try to make it a habit that on the 7th and the 14th and the 21st, you are taking care of missed subscription orders for that week. If you save all of that till the end of the month, do you know what that feels like to the member? Like, well, you're just doing this because you want to up your OGV, right? Is that why you want me to make sure this is resolved in the last 48 hours of the month? That's not what we want, but I'm sure you can see how it could be perceived that way. Okay. And then last but not least, close the loop afterwards. Check in and make sure that they were happy with the results from the member services that they got. If they weren't happy, how can you make them so? How can you resolve that? All right, this is a lovely little table here that I really appreciate. And it illustrates the heart of servant leadership. The more we serve our team, the more they know we care, and the greater their loyalty and trust and appreciation will be. How many of you have heard the line? I bet you every hand will go up. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. Anybody heard that one? Yes. It's true. Would you agree? I mean, think about for yourself. It really is true. So this is what kindness looks like in leadership. It looks like giving attention and appreciation and encouragement. Did you know that encouraging people is free? You guys, we can cheer people on and it doesn't cost a cent. You can make comments on their social media posts. You can send them a little note in the mail. I mean, you can drive to their house and write in sidewalk chalk on their driveway. I mean, get creative, okay? Go pick some flowers out of the road ditch and make a bouquet. I don't care what you do, but there are really fun ways that you can encourage people, okay? How do you show patience in leadership? By showing self-control. All right, yes, Danielle, road trip. How fun would that be? We should totally make that a thing this summer. 1 week, everybody should get road ditch bouquets. I'm a big fan. Show humility by being authentic and without pretense or arrogance. Just be yourself, okay? We show respectfulness by treating others, no matter their income level, their rank, their productivity. Treat them as important people because they are, okay? We meet the needs of others. That's a way of showing selflessness. So there's just so many good ways that we can translate love into our leadership. All right, and next, this is from a book called The Leadership Challenge. And this is a really great quote from one of probably the most foundational leadership books. And it says, of all the things that sustain a leader over time, love is the most lasting. The best kept secret of successful leaders is love. So staying in love with leading, with the people who do the work, with what their organizations produce, and with those who honor the organization by using its work. There has to be ways in the tedious little tasks that we do where we rekindle that love on a daily basis, you guys. And if you haven't figured out how to connect with that, talk to somebody, talk to your upline, talk to your downline, talk to your cross line, and try to hone in on what really lights your heart on fire, because that's the area that you want to be working in. Okay, so let's talk about resources. This was something that I promised you at the beginning of this class tonight. So we have tremendous resources like member services, okay, and the live help that you can do in the virtual office. I think first and foremost, we want to empower our members so that they aren't leaning so heavily on us. And that might sound counterintuitive if you're like, no, Skyla, but I want to take the best care of them. Yes, you do. And it's super easy to do that when you have 4 people on your team. But you guys, I want you to picture yourself right now, close your eyes, and picture yourself opening your downline viewer, and where it has the member count, I want you to picture that number being 10,000. Now, when you have 10,000 members, do you really and truly want every one of them to be calling you or texting you? Let me answer that for you. No, you do not. Okay, let me help you. So your job right now, that's right, Brittany, it is a whole lot of people. And we're going to teach all those people to fish for themselves, right? Lovingly, not like brushing them off, but we're going to teach them how to take care of themselves. So number 1, you teach them about member services and live chat. I'm also going to throw in here, they have to have a desk reference. For those most basic questions, teach them where to find the answers, okay? Encourage your members every time they talk to Young Living to email themselves a transcript so that they always have a record of the request and who they spoke to. I cannot tell you how many times it would have been really helpful if people have a little issue and you're like, oh, do you remember who you spoke to? Because sometimes, if something gets reported incorrectly, we have staff that's going and talking to those member services reps, you guys. There's on the job training. And so it does help if you know, yep, I was talking to James. Okay, cool. James isn't going to get fired, but a manager might go over and say, hey, James, when you were talking about this, I want to show you the latest, these are the numbers that we're sharing or whatever. Okay. So keep a record, show them a sample chat. I like to have them log into their new account and then do a test chat live with live chat right after they enroll. It's a great idea. You're teaching them how to be empowered. Be sure when you enroll a new member or you get a new customer, have them literally open up their contacts on their phone and put in the member services number right there. Save it as a contact. That's a good tip, you guys. Write that down. Okay. Offer to do a 3-way call with them to member services and utilize your rank phone number. So if you are a silver or a gold or a platinum, you've got leadership lines that you can utilize and you can help, bring them into a 3-way conversation. And oh, by the way, guess what else that does? It really puts a new perspective on the benefits of ranking up so that they say, hey, I kind of want to have that silver line perk. And that might be something that totally, stays with them. You can list upline support if you're not getting the outcome that you need. So sometimes a simple card or a phone call from a ranked upline leader apologizing for the hassle makes a world of difference. Let me tell you something that I did this week that I was so grateful for. I had a member who, for whatever reason, she had tried to order 1 bottle of foundation, I think 3 times. And I don't know what kind of zombie is in between Utah and this town in Iowa, but she's had 2 shipments fail and her product was not getting to her. And so we called again. They said, okay, we're so sorry. We're going to expedite it. I said, I appreciate it. They had apologized. Young Living had put credits on her account, yada, yada. But I finally said, listen, I have a favor. Could you, Diamond Support Lady, could you please email her on behalf of Young Living and let her know what is happening? And because at this point, after so many issues, I just felt like she might need to hear from more than just me. And her direct upline was feeling the same way. And so my gal in Diamond Support did exactly that. And it was the sweetest email. And I think that that meant a lot. So just know that we can always get creative. Okay. Joseph Michelli spent 2 years figuring out how Starbucks was able to take a commodity product like coffee and sell it for several times the typical cost. His book, The Starbucks Experience, is an overview of how Starbucks was able to grow and continue to delight customers over time. Has anyone read that book? I have not read that one yet. So let us know if that's a stellar read. And then another book, this is a customer service classic. This is the story of a company that built customer service deep into its culture. The book is filled with excellent detailed examples of how the hard decisions that were made to stay true to that culture over decades. It is the Nordstrom way. Okay. And here's a line to keep in mind, friends. We don't determine what good customer service is. The customer does. Ooh, that one will hit you right in the soft spot. Okay, so teaching others to serve. Here we go. Remind people of their ownership. Model the results. Let them see you serving and experience your care. Friends, there is no better way than submersing somebody in the culture of service to teach them what service looks like. There's no better way than just like surrounding them with it. Okay. Continually share success stories and ask others to do the same. And then praise member services and praise team leaders who step up to the plate and creatively solve issues. There is nothing more impactful than that. All right, who is ready for some action steps for this week? Here we go. Share your most recent customer service save. So who have you saved recently? Close the loop on a recent need to see how it went. So that means go back and follow up and say, hey, I remember you had an issue. Can you tell me, is everything smoothed over? Are you happy with the results? This week, check your downline for missed subscription orders. Remember, we're not going to wait until the 27th of the month, right on? Because the last day of this month is a Monday. I promise you, nobody wants to be contacted on a Monday to say, oh, I think you had a problem. So let's make it our goal. This is a great week to do it for the first half of the month. And then maybe, the 23rd, 24th, 25th, we start honing in on the end of the month and seeing if there's anybody that needs our help. Check on missing checks. Just always make that a regular to-do item, and then record your activity and your results. Now it is time for questions. I'm going to stop my screen share so that I can see your gorgeous faces. And let me know. You are welcome to unmute yourself or use the chat box either way. But do you guys have any specific questions? Maybe you've even had some experiences that kind of jump out as customer service, either victories or things we can work on.
Question.
I have one from this week.
Okay, Brittany, go for it.
So my really large sign up from last week, she was super excited on subscribe to save everything. We're talking like, I think the subscribe to save order was 540 something PV. It was significant.
Okay.
And so the other day she texts me and she's just nonchalantly, she's like, oh, I think I messed up and I canceled my subscribe to save, but I reset it up for next month and I put stuff in my cart. I'm like, oh, I picked up my phone. I'm like, we're getting on the phone. We're party lining customer service. I said, no. She's like, no, it's okay. I'm like, oh, no. That's okay. We're going to party line them. we're going to do it. So it was just really nice. I had a super awesome experience. The gal was very helpful, but she put the points back in her cart and everything was fine. But it was just like, oh, I panicked because I just know if you wait too long, you're going to be in trouble. And they're maybe not always going to do that. And I think so many people kind of do that. I've had it happen in the past where a chickie was not getting her order, kind of like how you said, like some weird abyss where she tried twice and was on customer service, got to the point where she was just dropping all the bombs. And I'm like, let me try. And I think I actually had to enlist Danielle at the time. And this was probably like 2 years ago. And we got it straightened out. But it actually, because she waited so long and she didn't reach out to me for like the month and a half that she was going through this herself, even though I make myself accessible, she just had this really bad taste in her mouth from the whole experience. And it was like everything I could do. We did get her the order. I put a credit on her account, like totally loved on her, but she still like fell off of the face of the earth for like a year. She's back. But it was just like, encouraging team members, I guess, getting my team to understand that I am here for them is probably the biggest struggle. Like I can do all the things and I can reach out. I think it gets to the point where they just see, oh, it's another Young Living person, because there's so many up the line that are like constantly sending texts or whatnot that they just kind of ignore it. But yeah, getting my team, I guess, my own downline, everybody under me to be more receptive is probably my biggest battle. Getting them to receive me and my offer for helping them. That I am here to help.
Right on. And praise be to the ones who are independent and are solving problems on their own. But I agree. I think we want them to always know if there's anything that you stumble on, we for sure want to know, and the sooner the better. because time does seem to help in some of those issues, the quicker we can get to it. So anyway, Britta is so right that sometimes when you're at diamond level, people have said, we just don't want to bother you. So we didn't think you would want to, mess with this issue. And it's like, yes, we do want to mess with it because we want to help resolve it. So.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay, go for it.
I have a member that when it comes to her subscribe to save, I'll reach out to her and I'll say, hey, I noticed that it didn't process correctly. Can I help you with it? No response. So I'll call the next week and I'll say, hey, I noticed, please let me know if there's something I can do to help. It may be a glitch in the system, right? No response. Hey, I was just checking. Are you okay? I haven't heard anything. Just want to make sure. Is there anything I can do? Is there anything you need? Can I help? Are you okay? Nothing. And it's like, okay, so the end of the month, hey, I know I've blown up your phone trying to get a hold of you. Please let me know how I can help. Nothing. Next month, her order goes through fine. It's like 10 seconds to say, hey, I'm having problems this month, or no, I know it's okay, or something, right? But how do you deal with this?
What do you think is the best way to deal with those kind of people, Penny?
Honestly, I reach out. I reach out once or twice anymore, and then it's like, okay. Because it happens about every 3 to 4 months. And I've even talked to her and said, hey, instead of putting in 100 PV order. How about we put in a 50 PV order? And maybe that'll help you stay consistent so you don't lose your points,
Sure.
right? I mean, I've suggested several things. Hey, how about if you offered a friend to try our Thieves Household Cleaner if you're having problems making
Mhm.
enough in your order, at our cost plus 10% to get them to try the Thieves Household Cleaner or a bottle of lemon or whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? Once a year or something. But it's like just total ignore.
So I've been doing some coaching recently with some pretty smart people. And I would say if I was going to pretend to be Kristen Boss or Leslie Burris, what do you make that mean about you? So are you internalizing anything in particular? And you may not be, but when scenarios like that happen where people don't respond, sometimes we make that mean something about us. And it sounds to me like you're doing your due diligence. You are showing up the way that we would want you to. And what I always think about you guys, as I look at all of you, and as I think about my own team, I think, gosh, every single one of you are probably responsible enough to file your taxes. So for the things that matter, I bet none of you are evading the law. I could be wrong, but that's my guess. My hunch is, I mean, this is why it's cool that we don't allow 6-year-olds on Subscribe to Save, right? Because we might have to chase them. But for adults, they're making a decision, and it's not our fault or our responsibility to decide whether or not they lose their points. Like, I don't want anybody to lose their points, but you know what? That's an adult decision. And once I lost 1,200 points, and I'm still here and breathing, and I know, right? I'm okay. I'm okay. I made it to diamond even after I lost 1,200 points. So tuck that one in your story hat and pull that out the next time you worry, like, oh my gosh, they're going to hate me forever if I let this happen. Maybe not. Maybe they'll hit diamond in a couple of years. Who knows? So that's just food for thought. Okay. I think you're doing your part, and that's all you're responsible for doing is your part. So Donna, you were going to say something a little bit ago.
Yeah, I had a 3 levels down contact me last weekend and said they got something wrong in their order. So they got something different than they ordered. So I talked to them and I said, just call customer service and they'll take care of it. And then so I followed up with them tonight, and they said they hadn't done it yet because their son was sick, but they were going to get to it real quick. So I just thought, everyone on my team calls me, no matter what level they're at, because nobody else is answering them. And that's okay. I don't care. I've got so few, I know all of them really well. So
and you're darn friendly, Donna.
I actually signed up a new person today who's been on the fence for 2 years.
Yay!
And was able to explain the different ways to become a member. And so she placed an order for Ninja and frankincense. And she has fibromyalgia. So I said, we'll have to work on the things that help with pain. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Good for you. Good for you. Awesome. Anybody else have any good news or any questions they want to share? I'm so crazy proud of you guys for being here and for showing up. I just feel like you are the game changers and the ones who take time to learn and to apply heavy on the word apply. Those are the ones that are truly making it happen and making a difference. All
Skylar,
right.
could you read that quote that you said when you were talking about the two books, the Starbucks Experience and the Nordstrom Way? Because I didn't catch it. Don't mean to delay so
yes.
bad, but I was
Let me-
writing all the other stuff down and forgot.
Let me see. Well, you know what? Was it the one from the Leadership Challenge?
It was like right after you talked about the Nordstrom Way. I don't know, right at the very end. No
Hold on.
biggie, but
I think it was
Oh.
that we don't determine what good service is, the customer does.
That's exactly
Okay.
right. Yep. Thank you, Britta.
Found it in the book in case y'all wonder.
Good work.
I don't have the book yet. Shh.
That's okay, but it's lots of good resources like that.
No worries. All right. Well, friends, I think I will wrap up the recording here. Thank you for coming.